People have enjoyed the book, The Ancient One, for now 25 years. In advance of this new edition, I'd like to reveal for the first time how the story was inspired. I was hiking in California in an ancient grove of redwoods. I decided I'd like to spend the night. So I did. I leaned up against a particularly old, gnarled redwood tree, and I stayed there all night long. By the time the first rosy rays of dawn touched those upper branches, I felt like the tree was a friend, and I wished I could ask it what it had seen in its long, wonderful life. That question actually led me to write the story, The Ancient One. This story is centered on Kate, a brave teenage girl. Her town in Oregon is in turmoil, partly because in a remote crater near the town, a lost grove of redwood trees has been discovered. But this is not only about the fate of those trees, it's about the fate of that town. They're intertwined and they're actually connected, which Kate discovers as she enters into the crater, explores it, and discovers the oldest tree in the grove is not just a tree, it's a time tunnel. And it was called the Ancient One. When she travels back in time, she has a great adventure. She actually solves the mystery of what happened to a lost tribe of Native Americans who had mysteriously disappeared. She learns something very important and then is ready to travel home. The trouble is that even then, in the present time, there are people who have followed her into the crater and are about to cut down the ancient tree. If that happens before Kate gets all the way home, her quest will be lost, everything she's done will be destroyed, so there's a race to the finish. Kate pleads with the old tree, take me home as fast as you can. And this is how the tree responds. This will be hard for you, very hard, for you are of a race that has forgotten how to stand still, to stop all running, all racing, all searching, to sink your roots in a single place, to watch the seasons roll past by the thousands, and to stand tall and straight, anchored equally in earth and sky, to bend with the wind but not to break, to bear your own weight gladly. As she listened to the low, richly toned voice, Kate began to hear something else, something even deeper than the voice of the tree. It was a rushing, coursing sound, like the surging of several rivers. She realized with a start that this was the sound of resins moving through the trunk and limbs of the tree, and strangely through her own self as well. Then she heard something more. With all her concentration, she listened to a distant gurgling sound. It came from far below her, rising from the deepest roots of the tree. They were drinking, drawing sustenance from the soil. Another sound joined with the rest, completing the pattern. Like an intricate fugue, it ran from the tips of the remotest needles all the way down the massive column of heartwood and into the roots of the redwood. Back and forth, in and out, always changing, always the same. This was the sound, Kate realized at last, of the tree itself breathing, the sound of air being cleansed for all the creatures of the forest, the sound of life being exchanged for life, breath for breath. "Oh, great tree," said Kate in wonder, "I feel so young, and you are so very old." A full resonant laughter filled the air, stirring even the sturdiest branches. "Oh, I am not so young as you, perhaps, but old I surely am not. The mountains, they are old. The oceans, they are old. The sun is older still, as are the stars. And how old is the cloud, whose body is made from the vapors of an earlier cloud, that once watered the soil, then flowed to the river, then rose again into the sky? I am part of the very first seed, planted in the light of the earliest dawn. And so are you. So perhaps we are neither older nor younger, but truly the same age. As she listened to the rhythmic breathing of the tree, Kate felt herself beginning to breathe in unison. A sense of her body was slowly returning, a body that bent and swayed with the fragrant wind. Every element of her being stretched upward and downward, pulling taller and straighter without end. Her arms became supple, sinewy limbs. Her feet drove deeply into the soil and anchored there. She felt tall and strong, centered and surrounded, sturdy and whole, content beyond human experience. A sweep of time swirled past, seconds into hours, days into seasons, years into centuries. Spring, azaleas blossoming and pink sorrel flowering. Summer, bright light scattering through the morning mist, scents of wild ginger and licorice fern. Autumn, harsh winds shaking branches, gentle winds bearing geese. Winter, ceaseless rains, frosty gales, more rains brewing. Again and again, again and again. Seasons without end, years beyond count. Fire rages through the grove, scarring the outer bark. But still the tree stands. White rot infects many branches, but still the tree stands. An earthquake rattles the forest, toppling many others, but still the tree stands. Then comes a peaceful day when the mist spirals gracefully skyward. A doe and her fawn step serenely into the glade, nibbling at the ferns. Then suddenly, a sound unlike any other sound ever heard fills the forest, piercing, screeching, banishing forever the centuries of stillness. A shudder, a scream of pain erupts from her whole being. Stop, stop, please, go away, leave in peace. But the pain only deepens. The sound grows louder. It is the sound of chainsaws. So Kate has returned to the 21st century. But the story doesn't end there. My greatest hope is for just an instant you could feel the adventure of Kate's experience, and maybe also that you could glimpse just a hint of the magic of an ancient redwood tree. Enjoy the ancient one.